Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. It is the player ratings. Everton 0, Leicester City 2 at Goodison Park yesterday. A truly awful performance by Everton. A truly awful result as well. And our final home game before the World Cup. Our last home game until after Christmas ends in a defeat. This is the player ratings. We have just done the instant match reaction, so don't forget to go and check that one out if you haven't already after this video. But we are going to jump straight into the play ratings. As I said, no point in sitting here and talking too much about the game in itself. It was an absolute horrendous night for Everton Football Club, and I've just ranted about it for half an hour on the instant match reaction if you want to go and check that out. But let's get straight into it then. Frank started with a team I think most of us would have expected. Dwight McNeil coming in for Anthony Gordon, being the only change, I believe, to the side. That's to do with Fulham last week. Let's get straight into it then. Jordan Pickford. I'm going to give Jordan a 3 yesterday, if I'm being honest with you. And I think he's probably lucky to get a 3. I don't think he could have done much with either of the goals. Obviously, the first goal is an absolute peach by Youri Tielemans. It's an absolute wonder strike, the technique. And the quality that it takes to be able to hit a ball like that with such precision. I think he's done it a couple of weeks ago against Wolves as well, scored the exact same goal. It's something, and as I said, I don't particularly think Jordan Pickford could have done much about it in that way. Don't get me wrong, I think it was an awful goal for Everton to concede defensively, but the strike in itself was one that I think you'd be harsh to pinpoint onto Jordan Pickford. And the second goal, again, very similarly, a counter-attack, and the ball's smashed at him from 10 yards out. I don't think there's really much Jordan could have done from there. But other than that, I thought his kicking was abysmal yesterday. Absolutely abysmal. It wasn't even just poor to the sense that, it wasn't weighted properly, or everything he hit was a little bit out of range, or accuracy wasn't great. It was fucking woeful. It was absolutely woeful. Every time he struck the ball, it was like he'd never kicked a football before in his life. It was embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing, to be honest with you, and it was not at the level that you expect Jordan Pickford to be at. Saves wise, again, I don't really think he had much to do. He made that 1 or 2 good saves that you would expect him to make, and as I said, the goals were completely out of his control, but his distribution yesterday was woeful. In times of the game when we needed it to be good, we needed it to be spot on, to get us on the counter-attack, to give us a bit of momentum, to get us pushing forward, to get us attacking. It was really, really poor at times when we needed it to be better. So yeah, he's getting a 3. Vitaly Mykolenko at left-back. I'm actually going to give Vitaly an 8. I thought he was the best player in an Everton shirt by some distance, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Defensively, he was very solid. He dealt with everything he needed to deal with yesterday. Going forward, yes, he brought nothing. But that, I suppose, is what we've come to expect from Vitaly Mykolenko. I don't know whether that's just Vitaly Mykolenko not being very good going forward, or whether it's Vitaly Mykolenko being told to not push forward, or being told to not break the line, or to try and create anything going the other way. I'm not really sure, but at this point, we can only really judge him on his defensive ability and what he's bringing in that back line. And I thought he was very solid yesterday. He was the best out of the defence, don't get me wrong, by some stretch. As I said, everything that come at him, he dealt with, whether it be on the floor, whether it be in the air. I thought he was very, very, very good yesterday, and most certainly Everton's standout player in yesterday's dreadful defeat. Centre-backs then, James Tarkowski, I'm going to give him a 6. I thought he was okay. I don't particularly think he done anything really of note that was woeful or that was wrong. I think he misplaced one pass, which put us under a little bit of pressure, but was dealt with fairly comfortably in the end. But, again, as with typically with the centre-halves, when Everton lose a game of football and lose a game of football in the way that we did, you're not really looking at the centre-halves as being the reason why we've lost anymore. You're not looking at the centre-halves as being the reason that we've conceded goals or we've given chances away or whatever. They're not really the players at fault, and I think yesterday was very similar of that. I don't think you could really blame either centre-halves particularly. Again, don't get me wrong, they weren't great, and they certainly weren't what they have been in recent weeks, but they weren't awful either. So Tarkowski can get a 6. Cody can get a 6 as well, very similarly. I think Cody maybe could have done a little bit better with the goal, the first goal, in terms of the build-up play to it. Again, probably could have been a little bit quicker on his feet, maybe on his toes a little bit more, but that would probably be harsh to suggest. I actually think Seamus Coleman completely proves in that one moment that he shouldn't be anywhere near an Everton starting 11, personally, for me. But, yeah, listen, again, I thought he was okay. He was all right. I don't think anybody really come out of the game yesterday saying, oh my God, Conor Cody was woeful. I think it was more everybody was woeful yesterday, so he can get a 6. Seamus Coleman then. Seamus is getting a 2, if I'm being honest with you. Look, I get the general consensus around Seamus Coleman is it's not his fault and we should automatically feel sorry for him that he's being exposed in this way in games of football. Don't get me wrong, I thought Frank's decision to start Seamus Coleman yesterday was quite frankly dreadful when you've got our number one right back who is fit, who is who is ready, who is available, who is there. As you know, it isn't my words, this isn't coming out of my mouth. This isn't me saying that. This is Frank Lampard in his press conference. Sorry, I'm just getting notifications through. Let me just bash that on Do Not Disturb. There you go. This is Frank Lampard saying that, not me. I'm not the one sitting here saying, Nathan Patterson's fit and ready and available starting. That was the manager who said that on Friday. So to start Seamus Coleman in that game when you know your number one right back is available is negligent for me. It's negligent. And I think Seamus showed yesterday exactly pardon me, exactly why he shouldn't be starting games of football for Everton. I think he was poor. Pardon me. I think defensively he was poor. I think he was beaten far too easily on multiple occasions by Leicester players. I think he was beaten for pace, he was beaten for power, he was beaten for stamina. He was just poor yesterday, Seamus Coleman. And again, I'm not sitting here and saying it's his fault and let's all sit and have a go at Seamus Coleman, this, that and the other. I understand the reasons for that. And I understand that it was completely Frank Lampard's responsibility yesterday, but this is also the player ratings, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's Seamus and we love him, so let's give him a 6. No, he was fucking abysmal. He's getting a 2. Into the midfield then, Iwobi's getting a 4 for me. I just don't think he controlled the game as much as what we needed him to yesterday. He had that big chance early on, which for me, he should have done a lot better with. He should be scored, and I've just watched it again on the replay on social media. It's floating about on social media as always. I've just seen it again. He should do much better for me. But, again, he wasn't particularly awful. His passing wasn't particularly awful. His movement wasn't. I just think as a whole, that whole midfield yesterday was really, really, really poor. They didn't have any impact on the game. They didn't control the game. They didn't control the pace, the speed, any outcome in the game. They just didn't control it. And the Blues says Iwobi a 4. I don't know. Maybe you expect them to get more, but listen, I don't think he was awful. I don't think he was awful. Maybe a 5, 6 would have been a better rating, but I just think in that position he should score that chance for me, and I think he should have more of an impact on the game for me. But again, it's not. I'm not sitting here saying he was the worst player on the pitch. There's no stress about it. I just don't think he was particularly involved. Onana's getting a 2 as well. And we talk about negligence. We talk about the manager making decisions that ultimately change the outcome of a game. Why am I sitting here on Twitter last night? Okay, Calvert-Lewin picked up an injury in the game, went off. Gay picked up an injury in the game, went off. Sound. No issue whatsoever. Why am I sitting here yesterday on Twitter reading that Amadou Onana had sprained his ankle in training on Friday, and therefore that's why he didn't have a great game, and that's why he went off. That might be right. And Amadou Onana was very, 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 very not himself yesterday, for lack of a better phrase. He was slow to everything. His tackling wasn't anywhere near as accurate as it usually is. His passing wasn't anywhere near as accurate. He was jogging round. It was a real sort of unlike Amadou Onana performance yesterday. And obviously, the reason for that is that he'd sprained his ankle in training the day before, and he was probably suffering with it. Why is he playing? Why, when you've got Tom Davies, Abdoulaye Doucouré, James Garner, all sitting on the bench, all capable of playing in that role and doing what Amadou Onana does, why are we playing a lad who's picked up an injury the day before? Is it a reliance on that midfield three from Frank Lampard? Is it a worry that none of the players that could come in and replace him are as good as him? Or is it similar to the Seamus Coleman situation, complete negligence on behalf of the manager? I don't know. But Amadou Onana yesterday, it was his worst game in an Everton shirt. He was absolutely abysmal. He was atrocious, and he should never have been playing if he wasn't fit. So why he was playing is beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. Garner can get a 3. I think he was probably slightly better than Onana, but by slightly I mean literally slightly better than Onana. Again, poor for me. Really, really poor. Not really in the game. Needed to come off when he did at half time. Obviously, he'd picked up his injury, and we don't know when he'd picked up that injury. Whether it be in the first 5-10 minutes, we don't know. He done well for Iwobi's chance, to be fair, Garner, nicking the ball back and creating that sort of opportunity for Calvert-Lewin to get it to Iwobi. But other than that, again, he wasn't what he usually is, picking the ball up, nicking the ball away from players, winning it back, creating space for others. He just wasn't himself yesterday, and I thought the three of them were really, really poor, but Garner was off it. He really, really was. Front three then, McNeil, I'm going to give him a 5. To be honest, I know some people won't like to hear that, and I know some people will like to spin the whole Dwight McNeil's absolutely woeful of football and he's shocking, etc., etc. Dwight McNeil was much better than Demarai Gray yesterday, for the simple sense that Dwight McNeil at least ran round, put himself about, put a couple of tackles in, and got involved. Neither of them offered anything going forward. Neither of them offered anything creative-wise or end product-wise or anything like that. Neither of them did. But at least Dwight McNeil put himself about a little bit and had to go. But yeah, that was about all he did, to be fair. And that isn't good enough. And that's not me sitting here saying it is good enough, because it isn't good enough. And he should be doing more than that. And we should expect more from him than that, because he's a forward who is meant to be in there to create chances, to score goals, and to be the difference between us winning a game and not winning a game. And he's not doing that at the moment. But at least he ran round and had to go, and the others didn't. Gray on the other side is getting a 1. I thought he was fucking abysmal yesterday. I thought he was... there's Onana, you had Pickford, you had Coleman, etc. I thought Demarai Gray was fucking abysmal yesterday. Absolutely abysmal. Every time he got the ball, he was trying to take on the world. Whether it be taking it too wide and trying 4 or 5 step overs to beat a man and getting the ball taken off him and being embarrassed, whatever it was, he was really, really poor yesterday, Demarai Gray. And for me, I wouldn't be starting him against Bournemouth in any of the games against Bournemouth. I wouldn't. And I know the other options are McNeil and Gordon, who equally haven't been very good recently, but Demarai Gray needs some time out of this team because he was atrocious yesterday. And then Dom can get a 2 as well. Again, went off with an injury, and we don't know how long he'd had that injury for, and I understand and I appreciate that. But yeah, wasn't in the game. Didn't offer anything. And as I said in the instant match reaction, our plan now, well, our way of playing is, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin doesn't have a good game, we're fucked. And that was exactly what we saw yesterday. Onto the subs then. I'll rattle through these. Nathan Patterson, he can get a 6. I thought he'd come on. Couple of good bits of play, couple of good bits of movement. Never really on for enough time to impact the game. Should have started from the off, and it was a disgrace that he didn't start from the off. Anthony Gordon, an NA. Can I give an NA? Not applicable. He's getting a 4 for the fact that he come on. He didn't do anything. He didn't have any impact on the game. but it'd be harsh to give him any less because, again, he was a substitute. Decore's getting a 3. Thought he was really poor. Really off it. And whether that's a lack of game time, whether that's a lack of fitness, whether that's a lack of match fitness, I don't know. But really off it. Decore come on and equalled how bad Onana was in 10 minutes. And that's worrying, considering Decore is now the replacement for an Onana or a Garner. Mopay, 4, come on, done fuck all. And James Garner was on at half time. I gave him a 5. I thought he was poor, to be honest with you. But, you know, he ran round a bit and worked hard and put himself about a bit, I suppose. But yeah, worrying yesterday. A complete lack of creativity, a complete lack of any real plan from Frank Lampard. And yeah, the one of the only games this season I've been really worried about after watching it. Now, I know some people say, wow, we've seen this coming, 1 win in 6, I get that. But yesterday was really concerning. Anyway, we are going to leave it there. If you have enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. We'll be back with the game review tomorrow, so don't forget to look out for that one. The instant match reaction is up on the channel now. If you want to go and check that out, that would mean a great deal to me. Big thanks to everybody for watching the live comments. I really appreciate it. If you watch a YouTube video, leave your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you later.